The new Viper 6 is Ozone's most advanced glider they've ever produced. To me, it's like they wanted to see how far they could push efficiency and performance in terms of both glider design and material selection. I've been demoing this glider for the past few weeks and I've honestly fallen in love with it. I got the demo through Aviator Paramotor, who are the US distributors for Ozone. They have a lot of demo gliders available and I'm actually a dealer under them. So if you watch this video and you're interested in any Ozone products or demos, feel free to email me at info@tuckergott.com and I'd be happy to help you out. Although I personally don't think I'll be owning a Viper 6, I did want to do this deep dive video on the glider because it showcases a lot of sweet technology and incredible performance. The Viper 6 is a high aspect ratio, ultra efficient, extremely high performance glider. If the Viper 6 was a woman, I would describe her as elegant and gorgeous. She would like to wear high heels and you would want to take her out to fancy dinners. For real though, the Viper 6 was designed to be super efficient, and this makes it great for classic competitions or long cross-country flights. To compare to the Freeride 2, which is my favorite glider and it's also in the same class as the Viper 6, the Freeride 2 definitely puts its emphasis on handling, while the Viper 6 definitely puts its emphasis on efficiency. Who is the Viper 6 for? The Viper 6 is, in my opinion, for a very small group of pilots. These are the pilots that demand maximum efficiency and maximum performance. It's a great glider for long cross-country missions where fuel burn is a priority. It also boasts some pretty respective speeds. In my informal testing, I got a max speed of 46.5 miles per hour. This glider is by no means for the casual pilot. Personally, as much as I love this glider, like I mentioned, I don't think I'll be owning one. I think for me, the Viper XC and the Freeride 2 strike a better balance as an everyday glider. For me, the Viper 6 is kind of like a nice Porsche or Ducati that really focuses on performance, but it also has an elegant feel to it. Price, colors, and options. The Viper 6 is one of the most expensive gliders Ozone makes. It starts at $4,700. Custom colors can be added for $250 and shipping is $60. The Viper 6 uses Ozone's newest color scheme pattern, which includes the solid color underskin. There's 4 stock color options ranging from lime green to red, or you can create your own custom colors. The Viper 6 has 2 riser options, which brings me to the next category: risers, lines, and fabric. As far as risers go, the Viper 6 has 2 options, standard or PK. The standard riser option has a slightly longer trim range, and the trims and speed bar operate independent from one another. The PK version has a slightly shorter trim range, but it allows you to access the entire speed range in just the speed bar. This is the version that I've been demoing. If you've ever flown Ozone PK risers, you'll know that they can be a little bit cumbersome. When you clip in and you lean over to grab the A's, you might notice that the A's and C's kind of slinky back and forth. But if you're a pilot qualified to be flying this type of glider, the PK riser shouldn't bother you one bit. Both riser options are a 3-liner system, so you have your A's, B's, C's, and brakes. The entire line set is unsheathed, and I don't believe there's an option available for sheathed lines. It's honestly incredible how thin the entire line set is. And likewise, when you're flying and you look up and you see just that 3-liner system with the tiny unsheathed lines, it feels like there's almost nothing above you connecting you to the glider. These unsheathed lines help increase the efficiency and speed though. The fabric on this glider is actually a pretty big thing to highlight. For the first time ever, Ozone is using siliconized Domenico N10D lightweight fabric. This fabric is lighter than any other fabric they've used in the past. When you feel it, you can actually feel that there's a silicone coating on the fabric. This is supposed to help the durability and the porosity of the fabric as kind of a protective layer. I am very curious to see how this new fabric type will hold up in the long run. With all these changes, a Viper 616 weighs just 3.48 kilograms, while a very comparable Viper XC16 weighs 4.09 kilograms. Interestingly, Ozone notes in the manual that you should not adjust the main brake line, as it could start to engage at full speed and cause a collapse. They do imply that it's okay to adjust the tip steering though. If I owned one of these gliders, I would be satisfied with the main brake length, but I would definitely shorten the tip by just a few inches so you get a little bit more engagement and authority. Inflation and launch. Due to the extreme light weight of this fabric, this is one of the easiest inflating gliders I've ever flown. There's zero tendency to hang back, and when I was kiting the glider, I noticed that you could stuff the brakes to the point of stalling the glider and almost hitting the ground, but the second you let off, the glider just wanted to reinflate and shoot back up above your head. Because this glider is so efficient, I've found that the launches are super easy. You can get off the ground in a very short distance at a slow speed. The brake range is really long, so you can get deep into the brakes, and I've been able to launch this glider in some pretty tight and short distances. In-flight handling.
Alright, in-flight handling. I'm up here on the Viper 6. It is obviously a small, high-performance reflex glider, so the handling is going to be really good. But if you compare it to something like the Freeride 2, the roll rate is definitely not as good. Where the Freeride 2 excels at roll rate, the Viper 6 excels in its recovery arc. The Freeride likes to dive and kill a lot of altitude in every maneuver. The Viper 6 likes to float through every maneuver. So in wingovers, it doesn't roll as snappy, but it recovers out of the wingover super quick, which means you can do more wingovers in less altitude. It's also insane how late you can time a wingover and really go up over the top, and the Viper 6 just wants to hang. And you can get deep in the brakes and it sucks you through the entire wing over. The Viper 6 did add winglets, which you can't see from the underside, but that makes it better for cross country. Like right now, I'm flying completely hands off. The air's smooth, but the glider doesn't want to oscillate at all. And that's largely part due to the winglets. I feel like the winglets might also take away a little bit of the roll rate. It just gives that more locked in feeling. That's what this glider is more about. Less about slalom and more about cross country. Which, as you can see, it has these nice long trims, and it does have the red marks on it for do not exceed. You're not allowed to pull brake past that red line. Similar to the Viper XC, I noticed the same effect when you accelerate the glider with either the trims or the speed bar. It gets this locked-in feeling. As it accelerates, it just feels like it wants to stay on whatever heading you place it on, and it tracks like an arrow, particularly when you accelerate. The efficiency of this glider is pretty insane. Cruise RPM is super comfortable, and I immediately notice how easily it climbs. When you hit the power on this glider just wants to gain altitude. And likewise, if you go up high and you kill the engine, the glide rate is insane. It just wants to float. As far as turbulence goes, though, it does give you every little bit of feedback, and I believe that's partially due to the fact that it's a 3-line design and it's a very high aspect ratio glider, but also because it's so lightweight, the glider can move and dance around in turbulence. So when you're in turbulent conditions, you feel it. The glider doesn't do much at all to dampen the feeling of turbulence, but that leads me to the next category, safety and collapses.
With this glider being an advanced, unrated, high aspect ratio 3-liner, it's no surprise that taking a collapse on this would be pretty dramatic. You need to be an advanced pilot who understands active piloting, how to use the speed system, and how to recover collapses, or you should honestly have no business on a glider like this. Landing. Landing the Viper 6 is easy and intuitive, no surprises here. Unlike the Freeride that wants to dive a lot and gives you long swoop landings, the Viper 6 will pull out of a dive much quicker, so it's not a swooping machine. But the brake range is super deep, and it doesn't have that point where it just stalls and gives up on you like some gliders. It gives you lift to the very last minute and will set you down nice and easy. Cons. I am curious to see how this new lightweight fabric will stand the test of time, especially in a rough environment like the desert. I feel like my Viper XC, which is made of heavier material, will definitely withstand the test of time better, but this is a brand new fabric, so who knows. The only other con I can think of is how active this glider feels in turbulence. Some people may not like that, but I personally got used to it pretty quick. Conclusion. If you're a pilot that loves cross-country flying and you're looking for the best efficiency, speed, and performance, the Viper 6 is the glider for you. If you'd like to pick one up, or if you'd like to demo one, or if you're interested in any other gliders in Ozone's lineup, feel free to email me at info@tuckergott.com or check out the first link in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Till the next one, have fun, fly safe, peace.